Hi everyone. Cypress is built on top of jQuery and it uses jQuery to select elements on the page, which means that you can use both CSS and jQuery selectors. In this video, I'll show a couple of examples. Let's say that we have an element and we want to select it using its ID. We would say cy.get, and the selector for ID is hash or #. So this is a normal CSS selector, and this element should have text Joe. Perfect. If you hover over a command, it highlights the selected elements. Now you can select elements by combining several selectors. For example, we want to find all elements that have class person, and the same element should have class student. We would write cy.get, and the CSS selector for class is a dot, and then followed by the class name. And if you want the same element to have also the class student, you would add .student without any spaces. Let's confirm, should have text Mary. Okay, we found the right student. It's not just the classes, you can combine several selectors. You can combine ID, class name, and attribute. So for example, let's find here all elements with class person and data attribute group A1. So I would say cy.get me all elements with class person, and the same element should have data group equals, and it's safer to quote the attribute value, and we're using a data attribute or like attribute selector, which is square brackets. So in this case, this should have text and not just that, it should have class student. So we're confirming that this element also has class student. Now we use the selector without any spaces because the same element has to have all those selectors. But what if we want to use a hierarchy? Find an element inside some kind of parent element. In this case, we use spaces. So for example, here we want to find all students somewhere inside an element with group B2. So first we will say cy.get and then use an attribute selector, data group B2, and then we will continue and we'll add a space. So space means a child selector. So in this case, let's say student. Okay, so in this case, it found an element with data group B2, and then somewhere inside it found all elements with class student. And finally, we can use jQuery selectors in addition to CSS selectors, and it's pretty powerful. In this example, we have a list, but some of the elements are hidden using display none, for example. So let's find all students inside a university. So we can say cy.get me university parent space student. So inside the university there are students, and Cypress tells me there are 3 elements, but some of them are invisible. So how do you find just the visible elements? Well, the student has to be visible. So we add colon visible. So this is a jQuery selector. And now notice we have only the visible 2 students. Similarly, we can say get me all the hidden elements, and now it says that element is invisible, but we can still verify it. There should be only one element and it should have text Joe. And let's confirm the class student. And just for kicks, let's confirm the CSS display none. Should have CSS and display none. So we specify the property and the value. Perfect. So this is an example of jQuery and CSS selectors that Cypress has built in. For more examples, you can check out my glebahmutov.com/Cypress examples page that I will link from the description of this video.